Hey friends, I'm Amy, and it's time for our second Girl Scout cookie copycat. We're making Samoas, also known as Caramel DeLites. They're technically the same cookie, but the Girl Scouts use two companies to make their cookies, and the name just tells you which one it came from. But there are some small differences though, and I'll let you know what they are as we get to those steps in the process. Full warning though, if you make these, you'll have a really hard time staying out of them. I'm not even the biggest coconut fan. I know that's blasphemy, but I absolutely love these homemade Samoas, and I just cannot get enough of them. So let's get cooking. Samoas are layered cookies, and we're starting with the cookie or wafer layer since that's the base for this whole production. In a large bowl, we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Whisk all these dry ingredients together so they're combined, and then set this bowl to the side. In a stand mixer bowl, we want 1 cup or 2 sticks of room temperature butter. If your room's pretty chilly, just make sure the butter is softened but not melty. Add a half cup of sugar and cream these together with the paddle attachment on a medium speed until the butter and sugar become light and fluffy. You may need to scrape down the sides too if any unmixed butter or sugar try to climb out of the bowl. When the butter and sugar are nice and fluffy, start adding the dry ingredient mix in small increments and mix everything up in between each addition. I just used a measuring cup to avoid spilling flour everywhere. So if you're anything like me though, you'll probably need to scrape down the bowl a couple of times so everything is fully mixed in. My baking ingredients always try to escape whenever I'm mixing them up, so I always have to make sure I don't end up with a ring of unmixed stuff around the top. When the dry ingredients are mixed into the butter, add in 2 tablespoons of whole milk and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix those in, and that is our cookie dough for our Samoas. At the moment though, this is very floppy and sticky dough, and it really can't be worked with, especially since we want our cookies to be these pretty little ring shapes. Place some plastic wrap on a work surface and put down half of the cookie dough. Shape the dough into a disc and wrap it up in the plastic wrap. Do the same with the second half of the dough, and then place both of these dough rounds in the fridge for at least an hour. After an hour, preheat the oven to 350 degrees and line a couple of baking sheets with parchment paper. Pull one of the dough rounds out of the fridge and place it on a floured piece of parchment paper on a work surface. Roll out the dough until it's about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch thick, and you may need to give the dough about 3 to 4 minutes to warm just a little bit so it doesn't crack and split as you roll it. Now here is where we get our first cookie variation. If you're going for the Caramel DeLites, go with 1/4 inch thick. But if you want Samoas, go with 1/8 of an inch, because the Caramel DeLites have a thicker cookie base than the Samoas, which are very thin and crisp. When you have the dough rolled out to your preferred thickness, use either a donut cutter or different sized cookie cutters like I'm using here, and cut out little ring shapes in the dough. Ball up any extra dough, roll it back out again, and cut more cookies. Then just keep doing that until you've used up all of the dough. Then grab the second half from the fridge and do the same thing until you have whole bunches of cookie rings. This recipe, it's gonna make about 48 2-inch diameter cookies, but you can also make these larger if you want, and I always do. Place the cookie rings on the parchment lined baking sheets about 1/2 inch or so apart. They may spread just a tiny little bit in the oven, but not much, so they don't need a lot of space. Bake the cookies at 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, or until the edges just start to turn a pale golden brown. Keep an eye on them though, because the time is going to vary depending on how thick you rolled your cookies and how large you made them. The larger, thicker cookies may take 20-22 minutes, but the little 2-inch skinny cookies are going to cook pretty quickly. When the cookies come out of the oven, move them to cooling racks and let them cool completely. Don't turn off the oven yet though. We have one more thing we need the oven for. Put some clean parchment paper on a cooled baking sheet and spread out 3 cups of shredded sweetened coconut. Sometimes it's called coconut flakes, but you just don't want big slices or like flat pieces. Pop the coconut in the oven and toast it for about 10, maybe 15 minutes until it starts to turn a lovely golden color. But pull it out and toss it every few minutes and be really, really careful with this one. This coconut's gonna go from beautiful and toasted to blackened cinders pretty quick. So pull it out as soon as the coconut starts to show that golden toasty color. Pour the toasted coconut into a large bowl and then set that to the side to cool. When the cookies are completely cool, line some baking sheets with waxed paper this time and then set them to the side. Also, make sure your toasted coconut and your cookies are ready at hand, as well as 4 tablespoons of whole milk. On the stove, prepare a double boiler. Fill a saucepan about 1/3 full with water and then place a large bowl on top with 20 ounces of caramel. These are Werther's soft caramel candies that I unwrapped, and I used just under 2 of the 10.8 ounce bags of the regular soft caramels. We're gonna melt this caramel using the double boiler over medium-low heat. You can see here that my kitchen is a little warm because the caramels have already started flattening out. This part can take a bit of time, up to 20-ish minutes maybe, so just periodically wrestle with the caramel as it gets really sticky and gummy and then starts to become more liquidy. When the caramel gets to a relatively melty state, pour in the 4 tablespoons of milk and carefully start stirring them together. They're not going to want to combine at first, but just let the caramel and the milk heat together, stirring them pretty often until they're fully combined and the caramel candies have become a very, very warm caramel sauce. Turn the burner off, but don't move the double boiler. This is going to give us a few extra minutes to work with our caramel before it starts to cool and solidify again. Now we move a little quick. Spoon half of that melted caramel into the toasted coconut and stir them together until you have a mixture that holds together well but isn't too wet. Set this to the side and now grab a cookie. Carefully spread a layer of the melted caramel onto the cookie. Be careful though, because this is still pretty warm. Spread it sort of like peanut butter, just a layer to act like glue for the coconut caramel topping layer. Then over to the big bowl and we're going to shape that coconut caramel mix around the top of the cookie while leaving the hole open in the middle. Pro tip, dip your fingers in a little bowl of water each time to keep the caramel coconut mix from sticking to you. Here is our next Caramel DeLites versus Samoas variation though. Go nice and thin on the caramel layer and thicker with the coconut layer for Samoas. But if you want Caramel DeLites, go thicker with the caramel layer and lighter with the coconut. Or, if you're like me, go big with both and have the best of both worlds. As you finish assembling the cookies, place them on the wax paper lined baking sheets and then keep on trucking until you run out of caramel or you run out of cookies. I did have just a few extra cookies because I always end up going a little heavy with everything. But these cookies are absolutely delicious, crispy little butter cookies all by themselves, so I'm good with it. Pop the cookies in the fridge so the caramel can set, because right now everything is still really sticky and kind of drippy. They should set pretty quickly, maybe 20-30 minutes. You can also pop them in the freezer as well if you have that kind of freezer space. Just like Thin Mints, frozen Samoas are delightful, and the colder they are, the better for our next step. When the cookies are set, we have our very last step, and that's the chocolate. Now we need to melt 12 ounces of dark chocolate. You can use the microwave in 15-second bursts, stirring in between each burst, or you can use a double boiler again. But when the chocolate's melted, Add about a tablespoon of neutral oil like avocado or canola oil to the chocolate and stir it up well until they're combined. Grab one of the sheets of cookies and we're going to dip the bottom of each cookie into the chocolate. Let any excess chocolate drip off, and I also found it easier to use a small spatula to help it out since this is pretty thick chocolate sauce. Place the cookie back on the wax paper lined baking sheet and keep going with all the cookies until everyone has a nice layer of chocolate on the bottom. And here is our last variation. The Caramel DeLites don't use dark chocolate for this step, they use milk chocolate. So dark chocolate is strictly a Samoas thing. So if you want Samoas, do exactly what I'm doing, but if you want Caramel DeLites, melt 12 ounces of milk chocolate and then do what I'm doing. Okay, very, very last step. When all the cookies have their chocolate underlayer, take the rest of the melted chocolate and drizzle it all over the cookies. You can give the chocolate another short burst in the microwave if it's starting to solidify too quickly. I dipped the tines of a fork in the chocolate and drizzled it that way, but you can also scrape this into a Ziploc bag and cut off one of the corners to make a tiny little hole and use it like a piping bag to drizzle the chocolate too. Either way, the cookies all have pretty little chocolate drizzles on them. Pop them back in the fridge for 15 minutes so the chocolate can set. As soon as the chocolate is set, the cookies are ready. So these are epic. I know, I say that about a lot of things, but when you don't really like something, and almost this entire cookie is made out of that something, it's epic when it becomes one of your favorite cookies. I mean, I like these better than the Thin Mints, and that's saying something, because Thin Mints are my favorite Girl Scout cookie, or, well, they're tied with the old Savannah Smiles, because, you know, lemon. You also want to store these in the fridge, because the chocolate will melt, and the caramel will get soft in the heat. But hey, frozen Samoas are delightful, so even storing them in the freezer would be just fine. So for the money, like all Girl Scout cookies, these are $6 per box, and these usually come with 15 cookies in them. At the standard 2-inch size, this recipe makes 48 cookies, and I spent $20.15 for the ingredients. Our homemade Samoas would cost about $6.30 for 15 of them. So for the second time, we did not save any money by making our own Girl Scout cookies at home. However, just like the Thin Mints, now we can make them when we run out of our stash with 6 months left until the Girl Scouts start selling them again. Win-win, because I miss them so much when they run out, and I love being able to tide myself over until I can spend my entire tax return on cookies. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Maybe leave me a comment below. I love reading comments and I take requests, so let me know if you have a particular copycat something you would like me to make. Come and hang out on Sundays for comforting and cozy home-cooked meals and treats, because we make something new every week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday for some more Better at Home Copycat cooking. Bye!